Hi everybody! In this video I will demonstrate some of the functionality of the Hydrosys4 software. But first let's give a little of the background of this system. The Hydrosys4 software is a software that runs on the Raspberry Pi 0W or Raspberry Pi 3. This software was designed to provide automatic control system for most of the aspects relevant to growers. For example, it can control the temperature, humidity, light, and can also provide irrigation using scheduling, but also according to feedback from soil moisture sensor. The system does not have its own physical interface, but it connects to the network using Wi-Fi or the LAN, and it has a very easy to use graphical interface. Let's go and see what is the setup that I prepared for this demonstration. As you can see here, we have the Raspberry Pi 0. I connected also the camera. Then here we have a light sensor, and this is I2C interface. Then we have this sensor that is temperature and humidity. It's the famous DHT22. And then here is the line for the power supply. I use 5 volt in this case, and I put 2 LEDs here that are connected to the relay here. I used 2 LEDs to just show when the relay switch on and off. Okay, how did I make the connection? You can go to the Hydrosys4 page, the project page, and in the project page you can go to the hardware page, and you will see there are a lot of informations how to connect the pin. So for example, here we have the connection to the DHT22, and as you can see there is a description. Of course you have to connect the power supply, but also the data pin to the GPIO24. In the Raspberry Pi 0, the GPIO24 is this one, is the pin 18, and this is exactly where I connected this cable, orange cable here. You can see this is GPIO24. Moving on to the other component. Here we have the relays, and we can connect up to 2 relays array, each one with 8 relays. In this case we connect only 4 relays, and apart from the power supply we can connect it to GPIO 5, 6, 13 and 19. And if we go to see here, the GPIO 5, 6, 13 and 19 are on the bottom left, and this is exactly where I connected the relay pin here. Next, the camera, and of course there is only one connection for the Raspberry camera, that is here, and the I2C connection. In this case the light sensor is the BH1750 sensor that is very inexpensive and is connected to the I2C bus going to these 2 pins here that you can see is SDA and SCL, these 2 pins here. And as you can see, these wires go exactly on these 2 pins here. Now let's move on to the software. So the Hydrosys4 software is open source. You can find the source code on the GitHub repository, but you can also find a link to the software in the website. If you go to download page, you can directly download the SD image ready for the Raspberry Pi. I already downloaded it and load on the SD card. For now is ready to go. Let's power on the system. As you can see, the green light of the Raspberry Pi is blinking, means that the system is loading. How can we connect to the system? When the system loads, it creates its own Wi-Fi network that is called Hydrosys4. So in few seconds after the system loads the software, we can see in the list of the Wi-Fi network a network called Hydrosys4. And once we connect to this network, we type the default address on the web browser and we can enter the interface. So let's go and check the Wi-Fi network. Okay, we have the Hydrosys4 network. Let's connect to it. I did input the password because this PC already connected to that network, but in case for you is the first connection, it will ask you a password. You will find all the information on the download page of the Hydrosys4 website. Okay, let's go to the web browser, open a new page and type the default address, that is this one. As you can see, now we are asked to provide the username and password. These are default values, but then you can change them. Okay, so now we are inside the system. To test if things work, let's go to the setting page and test the relays. As you can see, the relays works. We can even choose a longer time for activation. And everything seems to work properly. The setting page is the page where you should be able to see all the hardware connected to the system. But if we go to the sensor data section, we see only one sensor that is called time trigger, and this is not a real hardware sensor but a virtual sensor. So how can we see the sensors that we have connected to the system? We have to go to the hardware setting page, and in the first section we have to choose a configuration that better fit with our hardware setting. In this case I will show temperature, humidity, pressure, light and 8 water. Let's apply. Going back to the setting page. Now you can see that in the sensor data we have a list of sensors. To check if the sensor is reading properly, we can push the read button here, and we will have a real-time reading of the sensor. In this case, as you can see, the value is 22 degrees Celsius. Then we have humidity. Okay, we have a value. And then we have the light sensor. Okay, also here we have a value. Let's just check if it really works. Let's cover it and see if the value drops. Yes, as you can see, the value dropped. And here it get back to higher value because now there is a light. All the hardware is working properly. Just forget the camera. Let's go and test the camera. As you can see, the system detected there is one camera. The reference is video 0. And we can make a test shot just to see if it works properly. Okay, resolution. Position, this is used for in case there is a servo motor connected with the camera. And let's test it. As you can see, also the camera works. Let's go back to the most important part, that is the automation. So how can we connect the sensor reading to the actuator, in this case to the relays? We can go to the automation page and we can set up some example. So let's start with water tree. Okay, working mode, full auto. Then let's connect to the sensor, light sensor. As you can see, there is light sensor and between brackets there is indication of 15 minutes. It means that the light sensor reading happen every 15 minutes and the controller take action every 15 minutes. This may be okay for many applications, but for this demonstration I would like to have a faster time. Let's go to hardware setting. Here you can see there is a table that describes the hardware configured in the system. Let's go to light sensor, and this is the configuration for the light sensor 1. We can see that time is 15 minutes and we want to change this value to 1 minute. So let's edit table. This is light sensor. Okay, let's put it to 1 minute. Let's also put the temperature sensor to 1 minute period. Confirm and save. Now let's go back to automation page and let's set up the automation for the water 3 and water 4. Let's first address water 3. Regarding working mode, select full auto. The sensor should be light sensor 1, and as you can see is 1 minute reading period. I want to set up the controller in the way that when the light sensor reading drops below a certain threshold, then the actuator will start. So let's put 50 is the threshold when the algorithm will start to take action, and the direction is toward 0. So let's put 0 here. And then the actuator, when the threshold is above 50, actuator will not do anything. But then when it is below 50, we will activate the relay for 65 seconds, for example. This means that the algorithm will check the sensor every 1 minute, and if the sensor is below the threshold, we'll switch on the relay. Relay will stay on for 65 seconds, that is more than 1 minute. So it means that until the sensor reading is below the threshold, the relay will always be on. Then there are other configuration parameters that I will skip this time, but their description is in the website. Okay, the configuration for the water tree is done. Let's go and check what is the current reading of the light sensor. The current value is around 160. Let's now cover the light sensor so that its reading value will go to a very low value. I will put a cover on it. Now, within 1 minute, the algorithm will detect the sensor is below the threshold and then will activate the relay. Now, in the meantime, we can set up the other relay. Let's go to automation again. Water 4, and make it dependent on the temperature. As you can see, the LED light is now on. It means that the water tree setting is working and the sensor, as it is now in the dark, was below the threshold. Let's continue to configure the water 4. The sensor will be temp sensor 1, it's okay. The threshold should be 24 degrees up to 30, and then actuator for 30 seconds as soon as the sensor reading goes above 24 degrees Celsius. Let's configure the other things. And the time of activation all the day. Let's save it. Okay, so now also the water 4 will be activated according to the condition that we have set on the temperature. Let's go back to setting and see what is the current temperature. Okay, the real-time reading is 23.1, and also in the database this is the value that has been stored. Another important thing that we can do is go and check what is the historical data collection of the sensors. Let's keep only the light sensor. As you can see, every minute there is a reading, and then there is this drop due to the fact that we cover the sensor. Now let's see the temperature. As you can see, the temperature is very stable because it's moving from 23.10 to 23.20. To enable our relay, we should go above 24. I will manually do it. I think that in this way the temperature should raise up to 27 at least. Let's go to real-time reading. Okay, the temperature is now 25.6. Let's just wait till the next reading. Here we are. So the relay is activated. Let's update the page and see what happened. Temperature reading is now 27. It is above the threshold that we set to 24 degrees, and the actuator will switch on for 30 seconds. Yeah, now 30 seconds are passed and it's off. Let's also remove the cap over the light sensor, and within 1 minute we should see the relay switching off. You can see that as the temperature is still above 24 degrees, the other relay will be on for other 30 seconds. Okay, now it's switch off, and so on. The system has many other features, and for example, if you have an hydroponic system and you need to periodically switch on a pump, then this can be done. And then there are all the functions relevant to irrigation. For example, if we go to watering plan, this is the irrigation made using a scheduler. As you can see, also the other relay switch off, because now the light is sufficient. In this graph we can see that the light sensor reading went up again, and we still have the other relay that is conditional to temperature, periodically switch on and off, because the sensor reading is still above the threshold that we have set, that is 24 degrees Celsius. With this system, I try to make one single controller that can manage most of the aspects relevant to plant growing. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.